Good evening, wherever you are. My name is Saurabh Pol. Welcome to Pol Ki Bol. Today, I'm going to talk about the 4-day work week. Will it ever come to India? And the short answer is yes, in some capacity for very few companies in very few sectors, but it will not be there at a large scale, most likely in India, for at least for another 40, 50 years, right? Until there is like a huge shift in the way humans work, in the way the world works. I do not see India especially adopting a 4-day work week, right? The meaning of a 4-day work week is essentially like you start working from Monday, but instead of working till Friday or Saturday, you work till Thursday and you get done. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday आपका weekend, तो आपका 3 दिन का weekend हो जाता है, right? Sounds amazing, doesn't it? Most people are like, hey, you know what? Instead of working 40 hours or 45 hours from Monday to Friday, we'll do the same thing in from Thursday, Monday to Thursday, because then I'll spend less time at work or working, if you're working remotely, and I'll get more time to myself, as a person or as a family person, and so on and so forth. Sounds amazing, right? So according to like some labor laws in India, it's like you have to work like 48 hour ka cap. You cannot work more than 48 hours a week. I mean, that's a joke the way I see it, because I think it was made like 8 6 are 48, 8 hours for 6 days a week, and factory wala hisab, right? 8 hours 6 days, and 8 6 are 48. If you do that for if you convert that to Monday to Thursday, 4 days, so it becomes how much? Like 12 hours per day. Now that's a lot, right? But we all know that we won't be in that ideal scenario. 48 hours to hoga nahi, correct? Let's catch whatever it is, right? On a daily basis, 8 घंटा तो होगा नहीं, और 10 घंटा minimum होगा. Even if you're working 40 hours, which is considered the international average that you work 40 hours a week, तो वो 40 घंटे जो होते हैं आपके, तो वो आप दिन का 10 घंटा काम करो 4 दिन, एंड सॉर्ट हो जाओगे तुम. Now, while this sounds great on paper, the problem with it is it will work only for certain industries like tech, number one, like, IT in some cases, BPOs and KPOs. More or less, they are all sister industries, the way I see it, right? It's not going to work for anything that requires physical, effort, or anything that requires physical presence for that matter. The best example would be like, hey, logistics, right? आप अगर कुछ order कर रहे हो, right? You want it the next day. Nowadays, so we want it in 15 minutes, right? Companies and their processes require a lot of hard work and 24/7 work to, survive and execute. And वो होगा नहीं, frankly, if you are going to work only 4 days a week, because then वो आपको shift के हिसाब से करना पड़ेगा. Because it will be like how customer support works, right? Like you work, some customer support teams are like, yeah, मैं Monday to Friday काम करूँगा. Some are like, यार मैं Sunday to Thursday काम करूँगा, or something of that sort, right? Like मेरा weekend shift है इस बार. So it will be shift wise. It will take away your consistency, because or the company has to hire more people. These are people who will only work Saturdays to something like Saturdays to Wednesday, and उनको Thursday Friday off रहेगा. Or companies who are like कि, and then there will be other people who are like, तू सिर्फ Monday to Thursday काम कर, something of that sort, of Monday to Friday काम कर, वैसा कुछ, which also happens now, so 4-day work week is a matter of completely, I would say, having a trade-off, right? It's about having a trade-off. These things will work in quality jobs, like jobs where you're required to, not put in as much effort as much as you are supposed to give output, like brain work over hand and feet wala work. Okay. Anything that requires physical labor, as I said, majorly it's impossible to do this, right? That is why I consider, like, people who ask for permanent work from home and so on and so forth. Like, guys, this only works for certain industries. It doesn't work for all industries, right? But you'll be like, okay, if it is possible in certain industries, then do it in certain industries. Why does it always have to be for everyone, right? And I completely agree with you. If that is the case, also, I completely agree with you. Ki 4-day work week अगर करना है और सिर्फ कुछ इंडस्ट्रीज को हो रहा है, like pharmaceuticals can probably have it, but not, and even within an industry, आप देखोगे तो सेल्स वालों को अलग काम करना पड़ेगा, रिसर्च वालों का अलग होगा, फिर तुम्हारे फाइनेंस वालों का अलग होगा, मार्केटिंग वालों का अलग होगा, सबका अलग 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 होता है, राइट? बिकॉज every job, like you can't say कि यार I'm not going to visit as a MR, as a medical representative, I'm not going to visit a doctor on Saturdays and Sundays because उनका footfall सबसे ज़्यादा Saturday Sunday को होता है. ठीक है, तो that is the time to actually go and meet and advertise your product in a way. So I would say that this is like a position of privilege if you can work remotely, and a position of privilege if you can actually work 4 days a week or something of that sort, right? And let me break it to you guys, right? Like if you are any important in any company at the top, you're never going to work 4 days a week. You'll always work 5 to 6 days a week. I'm being very frank. If you work n days in a week, you will work n+1 days or n+2 days if you are one of the leaders of a company. So this is what I want to honestly tell you guys. I hope you remember this, because everyone thinks everything's so sweet and all, but you actually get into it and you realize ki, oh wow, okay, uh, this whole thing about being a leader is not as fun as they thought it would be. Because recently, I don't know if you saw that ChatGPT uh, gave its people a 5 day, 1 week complete off. Ki you just don't have to come to work. पूरा एक हफ्ता ऑफ दे दिया उन लोगों को, because they're like, these guys were working 80 hours a week. Okay, that's a lot. 80 hours a week is a lot. These guys were not getting weekends also at times, maybe half a day in 7 days they were getting off. So it's crazy, like minimum 12 to 14 hour work days every day, no chutti, no nothing. But you know what was one sentence in that? uh Everyone will take an off except for the executive team. They will continue working. So if you're a founder, if you're part of the leadership, there are no days off, right? So this 4 day working week can work, but only till a certain level, only for certain industries, only for certain teams, right? So this is something which is extremely important for people to remember whenever this topic comes up. Also, India as a nation, I think this comes from a position of privilege, this whole 4 day work thing. As much as I disagree with Mr. Narayan Murthy, because he comes at it from a different angle, I personally feel we do not have the luxury as a country to slack off for another 30, 40, 50 years. We have a lot of ground to cover, and 4 day work weeks are something which can't be afforded to us. I'm sorry. We will have to work like the Koreans work, like the Japanese work, like the Chinese worked. We will also have to work, like this for like another 2, 3, 4, 5 decades. उसमें हमारा career तो खत्म होने वाला है इसमें. Maybe our children will see a better India in terms of labor laws, in terms of work-life balance. I don't think we will see it. I don't see us seeing it. I'm being very frank. If you get lucky, good for you. But 4 day work week वगैरह वो सब नहीं होने वाला यार. वो सब नहीं होने वाला अपने देश में. Not so soon, at least. It will take a lot of time, and maybe in the future, 30, 40 years down the line. And that's what I said, right? If I see, there are other things also, right? Like you do 4 days a week, right? Like who else will do 4 days a week? Because companies are like, ki, if I have to be operational 7 days a week, okay, then I have to hire more people. Then I have to pay you less. You get me? Now you see how things are working from a company's perspective. Is like, पहले मुझे एक हफ्ते में मुझे, if I had to be operational for 7 days, I needed 10 people. Tomorrow I'm going to need 12 to 14 people for the same. Suddenly, for the same amount of revenue, I need to hire more people. What is going to happen? You're going to reduce salaries across the board. So there are people who are like, you know what, I'm ready to earn 80 rupees instead of 100 rupees, but give me 4 days instead of 5 days. Cut my 20% of work time, but also cut 20% of my salary. I'm okay with it. Not everyone is not going to be okay with that. You understand? So when you think of something, you have to think comprehensively, right? So that is my thought process on this. And I would love to know your thoughts on this, because are you someone who's ready to take 20% off by working less, 1 day less? And what happens to someone else who's like, कि मेरे को नहीं करने का ये, मैं करेगा 5 दिन काम, मेरे को एक्स्ट्रा पे करो तुम. What happens then? Because, and by the way, overtime and all तो निकल चुका है. वो फैक्ट्रीज में होता था. हमारे यहाँ पे तो कुछ होता नहीं overtime जैसा कोई चीज़. Correct? So this is something you should remember when you are asking for a 4 day work week. This is the angle in which it works. Another thing is that enforcement of labor laws in India is non-existent, as of now, at least. As I said, it will take another quarter of a century before it is being taken seriously, before only after we cross like $15,000 per annum in terms of per capita, 15 20,000 dollars per annum per capita income, tab jaake we can think of these luxuries, these privileges of being treated like good human beings, normal human beings at our workplace, right? I would say, see, also you need to have a very strong societal welfare net to do all these kind of things, because if you are let go or if you're not paid as much, you can still survive. There is still dignity of life. Now, Europe has it. Many Middle Eastern countries have it. Southeast Asian countries also have it. Some of them, but we don't have it, right? Like and we won't have it for the longest time. We won't have it. A credible one, so we won't. Simply because we are too populated and we are too poor as of now. Maybe 25 years down the line, 30 years down the line, hopefully things improve, I guess. That's I know it sounds depressing, but I'm giving you the bare reality of what it means to have a 4-day work week, right? Because that's the reality, and this is going to be possible only for a very niche amount of a number of people, right? सबके लिए possible नहीं है ये. So please keep in mind when you're thinking of a 4-day work week. What else can I say about that? Let me check my notes because I think I'm forgetting. Um, uh, I don't know. I don't know. I think this was it. I think this was not exactly a great topic, but I thought I would answer it because yeah, 4-day work week, 4-day work week, log karta rehta hai. I thought people should know that there is an angle to it, right? Lost Soul is saying nope. Rather, we will go back to Monday to Saturday and maybe get alternate Saturday off. Yeah, see, that is how it works. Yeah, which reminds me, it takes me to my next point, right? Like in places like Australia, in places like Europe, like Germany and all, in a lot of places it's like भाई 7-8 बजे के बाद आपको कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. ऑस्ट्रेलिया में 8 बजे के बाद आपको खाना नहीं मिलता काफ़ी जगहों पे. आपको कोई एक शॉर्मा शॉप गलती से खुल गया तो खुल गया. कोई सैंडविच शॉप गलती से खुल गया तो खुल गया. Now why is that? I was always like, what do you mean? Why is everything closed after like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. and all? What the hell is going on? And they're like, ki boss, we everyone is allowed to go home. जो आपका खाना बना रहा है, वो भी घर जा रहा है. जो आपके लिए टैक्सी चला रहा है, वो भी घर जा रहा है. दे आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स. वी डोंट हैव अ परपेचुअल लेबर मार्केट गोइंग ऑन ओवर हियर, व्हिच इज़ व्हाट यू रियलाइज़ इन इंडिया, दैट यार हमारे यहाँ पे तो कॉन्स्टेंटली सब कुछ अवेलेबल रहता है बिकॉज़ पीपल वर्क टिल 2 AM. मैं अब भी नीचे अपने घर के नीचे जाऊँगा ना, सुबह 4 बजे मेरे को सिगरेट मिलेगा. साइकिल वाले का बंदा आएगा, वो मेरे को बोर्नवीटा देगा, मेरे को बूस्ट देगा, मेरे को चाय देगा, मेरे को सिगरेट देगा, एंड दीज़ आर ओनली द लीगल थिंग्स आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट. वो साइकिल पे घूमता रहेगा कोई आदमी सुबह 4-5 बजे तक. करेक्ट? बिकॉज़ दिस गाय इज़ लाइक, मैन आई नीड टू अर्न. मुझे कमाना है, मुझे मेहनत करना है. मैं घर नहीं जा सकता. यू गेट मी? वहाँ पे वैसा नहीं है, वो घर चले जाते हैं. दे दीज़ पीपल गो होम एंड दे आर लाइक, वी आर ह्यूमन बीइंग्स मैन, वी आर गोना लिव विद डिग्निटी. You get me? That is why, you don't get things after a certain point of time, after 8 p.m. and all, right? Over there, 7 p.m. sometimes in some cases. So that is one angle. When 4-day work week agar aapka hoga, you will the level of services will also not be there then, because if companies want to be at that level and give you those services, then they'll have to hire more people and pay you less on an average, right? So remember, that's a trade-off. So good point, Lost Soul. That's something which I was missing out on. Aditya Chavan is saying hi, Saurav. Hi, Aditya. How are you? What's up? So yeah, anyway, folks, almost 15 minutes done. So these were my thoughts on the 4-day work week, and to conclude, it will come for in the next 10 years for a very niche audience in very niche industries for very niche roles. It's a privileged position which India cannot afford for another 2-3 decades. And there are trade-offs to both of them, right? So yeah, anyway, that was me. That was Polkeball. I will now take any questions if you folks have anything else you want to talk about. More than happy to oblige. Aditya, I don't know if you're live because I think you just said hi to me. अपना फोन चार्ज करना रखना भूल गया. और क्या चल रहा है? Anyone has anything to talk about? I'll wait for another minute or so. If nothing else, I'll drop off. Cool. No more questions, no more chats. Thank you, folks. This was Polkeball. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll go live again tomorrow. See ya. Bye. No. Okay. Lost Soul has a question. मैं जा रहा होता है तुम लोग मेरे को खींच लेता है. Lost Soul, like, do you think America India relationship? What मतलब? Are you missing a word? Do you mean what do you think about America India relationship now that Trump has played the trumpet? No, this is just a normal negotiation tactic. It's fine. India-US relationship is completely fine. It's a long-term relationship. India and US have a beautiful, and I'm not, buttering it. I think we have a beautiful opportunity to really define the next couple of decades because both US and China benefited massively, massively, benefited from both each other, right? It was an incredibly successful partnership that started in the 1970s, really took off in the 1980s, and kind of stopped in the mid 2010s, right? So yeah. So they benefited for 30 years. Why can't we benefit from the Americans for 30 years and vice versa, right? We have a lot of things to offer. The Chinese had manufacturing to offer. We can also give manufacturing now. I mentioned it in yesterday's live that we are now providing 55% of the mobile handsets that are being exported to the US. They come from India. 40% is China now. They have gone down 45% now. Of course, the value of those handsets is higher in China, but ठीक है ना, अभी start हुआ ना भाई, अपना भी बढ़ेगा. So India and US will do well. Trump, whatever he's talking about the tariffs, everyone has to play to their base. Indians have to show Indians have to show, Indian leaders have to show that we are protecting our farmers, we are protecting our MSMEs, which is medium, small and medium enterprises, and so on and so forth, right? वो हमको दिखाना होता है. Donald Trump and American leaders have to show their people, we want to protect our industries, we want to promote our products in other foreign markets, so we want India and others to reduce their tariffs. So ये खेल है, ये politics है, and more or less we see, and this is वो नहीं, आप किसी शॉप में जाते थे कपड़ा खरीदने, एंड वो दुकानदार बोलता था 500 रुपया, आपकी मम्मी बोलती थी 100 रुपए, एंड यू वुड बी सो एम्बैरेस्ड, यू लाइक व्हाट द हेल इज दिस. एंड देन वो आता था, वो बोलता था मैडम मैक्सिमम 350, एंड देन योर मॉम वुड जस्ट ड्रैग यू आउटसाइड एंड बी लाइक कि नहीं, हम जा रहे हैं बाय, हम जा रहे हैं, और बाहर जाके आप ऐसे खड़े रहोगे फुटपाथ पे. I mean, at least, or maybe it was just me, And but let's be frank, it happened with everyone, right? Your parents would drag you outside and pretend ki we are leaving the deal. This is not done. This is not good. And he's like, "Arey, madam, aa jao, please, aa jao." And they would call us back and they would drag us in and they'd be like, ठीक है यार, ना आपका ना मेरा 250 में कर लेते. तो जो 500 था वो 100 था. Somehow it is at 250 now, and there is a lot of drama in that negotiation, right? That used to happen, didn't it? Give me a like if that happened. Fuck you guys. This was actually a very good example. So happened to me a lot more than I wanted. It was so embarrassing. My mom तो the other day, she was like, अरे तू भी ऐसे ही कर, ऐसे बाहर जाके खड़ा हो जाने का, बोला मुझे नहीं चाहिए, and you will get a discount. I was like, yeah, okay, thanks, mom. Maybe it works. I'm just too embarrassed to pull it off, right? So this is what it is about India and the US. These are negotiation tactics, and we will be finding a solution very soon. So yeah, that's what it is. Yeah. Aditya Chavan is like, is there a preferred way to contact you? YouTube Live is good, I've heard. You can contact me on YouTube Live. Cool. Z5 is like, bro, Aditya is like, just missed you, man. I missed you too, Aditya, if that's what you meant. Z5 is like, bro, what kind of jobs do you think will GRT created because of AI? Okay, I will get created because of AI. I'm assuming that's what you mean. Yeah, honestly, now there will be, first, before new jobs being created, existing jobs are going to change. And I'm like, like I'm telling you, existing jobs are going to change, okay, and they're going to change massively. Firstly, dangerous jobs are going to go away as much as possible because we are going to be like, hey, we like see fighter pilots, fighter jets, extremely dangerous job, right? What are we doing? Drones. Anytime humanity gets a metal to do its work for it, it lets it do the dangerous jobs first. ठीक है? बॉम्ब डिफ्यूजर, वो रोबोट वोबोट आते हैं ना छोटे मोटे, बॉम्ब डिफ्यूज करते हैं वो जाके, वो सब, यू नो. एंड there are many examples, like, you will drop something in a mine to check what is there, हम लोग, and come on, look at space exploration, right? Humans can't do it, so we are sending rovers. मार्स पे रोवर घूम रहा है ना, इधर उधर यूरेनस वगैरह के आजू बाजू कुछ कुछ रोवर जा चुके हैं, बिकॉज ह्यूमंस कांट डू इट, राइट? सो आई नो दिस अ लॉन्ग विंडेड आंसर, बट द रियलिटी इज दैट एआई से सबसे पहले जो खराब जॉब्स है वो ऑटोमेट हो जाएंगे, बिकॉज वाइल वी मे हैव द हार्डवेयर, वी नेवर हैड द सॉफ्टवेयर. लाइक आई वॉज वॉचिंग अ वीडियो द अदर डे दैट इन चाइना दे आर ऑपरेटिंग excavators via screens. They're not actually sitting, in the excavator. They are sitting miles away in an office where they are remote controlling the excavator, and they are doing it. And the machine is just there. See, the metal is replacing the human. And over a period of time, that AI will learn actually how this works. And ultimately, you won't even need those people to do it, right? Those scary excavation jobs and so on and so forth, right? Drilling and all of that. Construction sites are not exactly the safest. So those are the jobs that will go away, and transformation of jobs will happen, like, already, I would say, in a lot of ways, like, yeah, I'm saying the entertainment industry is going to be turned on its head. I personally feel you are one job which will definitely be created big time. There will be a rise of solopreneurs. There will be a rise of solopreneurs, which means that if you saw yesterday, Mark Zuckerberg put out a video 24 hours ago. I was checking it, but he was like, everyone will get their own personal super intelligence. He is like कि मैं AI बनाऊंगा and मैं आपको बेचूंगा वो AI, and each one of us will have our own Jarvis. आयरन मैन के पास कैसे जारविस रहता है, तो तुम्हारे पास तुम्हारे औकात के हिसाब से, तुम्हारे पैसे के हिसाब से जारविस आएगा. समझ रहे हो? जैसा किसी के पास क्रेटा है, किसी के पास साइकिल है, किसी के पास मर्सिडीज है, तो सबको अफोर्डेबिलिटी के हिसाब से मशीन मिलेगा. सो उसी हिसाब से सबको अफोर्डेबिलिटी के हिसाब से यू विल गेट योर AI, एंड व्हाट यू डू विथ इट, हाउ यू गो अबाउट इट, is your talent, and you can become a solopreneur. You can actually do so many things. You can actually do so many things. When you have your own Jarvis, you can run your own business. Recently, I think Google bought a company, or Microsoft bought a company for $85 million, and that company had only one person. He created a no code tool. So that's crazy, right? Like, and most of it is possible because of AI. And I think we will see more and more and more of solopreneurs being created. Instead of having like 15 people, you will have 15 bots or 10 bots to work for you. And I am today, by the way, was the first time in my life I used a bot. In a way, I mean, I used an AI agent. I asked it to create a to-do list for an upcoming activity, um, on a Google Sheet. वो अपने आप जाके गूगल शीट खोला और उसने 17 पॉइंट लिखे विथ कि दीज आर द थिंग्स यू हैव टू डू. इट पुट द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ ईच टास्क, इट पुट द डिपेंडेंसी ऑफ ईच टास्क एंड द स्टेटस ऑफ ईच टास्क, and it was showing me a recording of it doing it, right, live, real time. And I was like, wow, like, this is real, like. And imagine so many other use cases of this going forward. And now, as of now, it is still very digital. Going forward, we'll get our Interstellar में टार्स जैसा कैसा था वो, टार्स, तो वैसा we may also get छोटू version, medium version, higher version and all. So solopreneurs will really rise. I don't think there is anything called as a prompt engineer. That's just pure bullshit. That's bullshit. There's nothing called as a prompt engineer. Like, over a period of time, everyone will learn how to do a prompt. Okay, Prompting is an act. The output and how you interpret it and what you do with it, that taste of is this output the correct one, that is the whole point of AI. Will you succeed with it? If you don't know how to use AI tools, folks, you are in trouble. I'm telling you right now. Your job, whatever your job is, it's going to automate so many things. It's not even funny. Now you should ask yourself, where is it that automation ends and human judgment comes in? Because वो अभी भी वो judgment पे अभी तक तो वो आया ही नहीं है AI. So just remember that. I know long-winded answer. Sorry about that. But yeah. Um, cool. Lost soul is like electricians and hardware technicians. Um, yes, because there's a lot of energy need. But that's a very American answer, lost soul. I think there was this report which said that they need 500,000 electricians in the coming decade, and they hardly have like 10, 20, 30,000 of them, as of now. And they're asking young men to move into the trades, is what they call it. As a plumber, as an electrician, as a carpenter, those are called as the trades, blue collar jobs, kind of, they're called the trades. And Americans are trying to move and trying to make their human resources move there, trying to make the trades sexy because they need them. Because AI अगर सब कुछ करेगा तो ह्यूमन बीइंग्स क्या करेगा? वो AI को मेंटेन करेगा हम लोग, AI को पावर करेगा हम लोग. That's the thing, at least initially. Going forward, I don't know. So there is that. So lost soul is right. I think in America, definitely this is the way. In India, also probably, I think, because a lot of data centers are coming up in India, in the Middle East, and so on and so forth. So there's that. Electrical engineering will be king for next few years, is what Lost Soul is saying. I don't know, man. The problem is how much of the labor. See, India में robotics तो आ जाएगा, but we will not let robots completely take over. We'll regulate the shit out of it because we'll lose jobs, yeah, and we will otherwise have societal upheaval because of it. We can't afford that. Sorry, no. So I would say electrical engineering, yes, it's a good choice, but how many people actually do electrical engineering and actually get into it? That's the whole thing. So yeah. Yeah, Aditya Chavan is like, bye, missed you. I meant I was not watching the live broadcast, and when you said that today, I made that comment, but it came out very sus. Okay, Aditya. Lost Soul is like, we need more energy to let AI work. Yes, true. I think nuclear energy is the future. I've always said this. It's incredible that we haven't really doubled down on it and tripled down on it and solved the world's electricity problems through nuclear energy. It's incredible. And this is like 70-year-old technology. We should have done it long back. So yeah. Z5 is like, what is your view on India's dropping fertility rate? I think our demographics are still fine. I think this question's been asked before. I think our demographics are still fine. In certain parts, like we have had the chief ministers of Andhra Pradesh, the chief minister of Tamil Nadu, at least I remember these two for sure. I remember saying in recent years, in recent months, that man, the TFR is not good. You should have more children. So yeah, certain parts of the country, the TFR is not great. Certain part of the country, which is your total fertility rate, it's pretty healthy, 2.1 and above. But the question is that we may have to relook at what a TFR means. Is it even important to have 2.1 in the age of AI and in the age of robotics? Because I think the West has kind of decided we are not going to solve the fertility crisis, but we can probably, instead of requiring 2.1, if we require 1.2 or something of that sort, maybe that is the way to go about it, because we are now a post-industrial society. At least they are. Many parts of India have still not seen industrialization, still won't for another 30 years, unfortunately. So for them, and before industrialization, having children was profitable. After industrialization, raising children is not profitable, because there was also infant mortality that happened. In the last century, we have really worked and won against it. So now having fewer children makes more sense. And children are expensive, and they do not give you ROI, at least for the first 25 years. Um, Before the Industrial Revolution, you could just put your kids to work by the time they were 9, 10, 11 years old. And it was like, खेती पे तो काम कर रहे हैं, सीखेंगे कैसे? So that is how it works. It used to work. So it made sense to have as many kids as possible because you didn't have to pay them, you only had to feed them. And they worked for you for free, and they took your legacy forward. Today, many of those things are not true. So that is why your TFR is going to be low. We are following the West in those trends. So we have that advantage. We can see, okay, what are they doing or not doing, and we can learn from them. Those are my honest thoughts. Lost soul is like, this is why I'm saying electrical engineering will be king. Few people are taking core engineering jobs, and 2035 will have severe shortage of these people, and this will raise the wages. काफी आगे का है, but I don't know, maybe by 2030 or something this will happen. 5 years down the line this will really happen, but yeah, as of now I don't see it happening. So yeah. Whew. Wow, I was supposed to do something. Yeah, I have to drop off unless there's anything else, folks. Please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps with the algorithm. We have to reach 10,000 subscribers. We are still at 1588. Please थोड़ा share करो अपने दोस्त लोग के साथ, and ऐसा click 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 click, and that helps us.